Anyone else want to ask any questions, want to share? Oh, I have a question if no one has one. I have a question. What do you like about these teachings? Is there anything that you find interesting or that you particularly like about this teaching, about Bhagavan's teachings, or about the way I share them? Indeed, welcome.
Hi again. It's just the first thing that popped into my mind was transparency, transparency, um, freshness, simplicity, something along those lines.
Mm. What do you mean by, I know what you mean. I think I know what you mean by transparency, but tell me why you use that, why that popped out to you.
I think that's probably the way you present it. And I think it's the way Bhagwan presented it as well. It just feels very transparent and without a like an ulterior motive behind it, um, based upon how, just based upon his story and, that he didn't really want to write about these things and, you know, uh, that he was almost like coerced into, putting them out there. Just there, it just purity, honesty, transparency. Yeah.
Thank you, Wendy.
Very, very refreshing. Yeah.
And in what way, what do you mean refreshing as opposed to what? Like, how is it different to, I mean, yeah, in what way is it refreshing? Are the teachings not so transparent, or does
Um,
just transparency also mean clear as well?
oh, well, that too. Yeah. Yeah, that too. I think it's, yeah, our other teachings not so transparent. I think that, I think that some are, maybe intending to be, or have been intended to be that way and started out that way. Um, I guess I think of the teachings of Jesus and the red letters as being an example of that. And and how it's been distorted for uh, you know, for gain, um, you know, for
I
egoic
see what you
gain.
mean. I see
Yeah,
what you mean.
yeah,
So transparency for you means sort of devoid of ulterior motive. It's very
yeah,
clear what the agenda is here.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. And I just really,
Or lack
I
of agenda, or lack of agenda, you could say.
yes. I came to across, some article about, cults and how to define them and definitions of them and all. And, just, what you're putting out there is like, well, if you want to take this, then you can. And if you don't want to take it, then that's okay too. And it's
Mm,
fine. But here's what I know. And, like, there's no urgency. Like, okay, if you don't do this, oh, you're just going to be
mm.
lonely and horribly, desolate for the rest of your life. And, you're going to go to hell or, anything like that.
I
It's just,
see. I see what you mean.
um,
Yeah.
to have that freedom, is extremely important, I feel, and very valuable.
Yeah. No,
And
I see that. Yeah.
so thank you again. And thank you to Bhagavan Ramana.
Thank you, Wendy. Thank you to Bhagavan. Bhagavan, definitely.
Mm.
Thank you. Yes, that's true, isn't it? I think the way Tom is and Bhagavan as well, he never sort of says, you have to do this, you have to do that. No, it's here if you want it. If you don't, it's fine. Not maybe not everyone wants this. Well, definitely not everyone wants this right now, at least. So, yes, that is refreshing, isn't it? There's beauty in that. Mm. Thank you, Wendy. We have Hester, and then we have Anita. Hester, welcome.
Hi, Tom and everyone. And I agree with everything that Wendy just said. It's really beautifully said. It's true. There's no coercion or evangelism or anything like that. But for me, the most valuable thing in your teaching is that it shows me that liberation is possible. And I think that with many other teachings, I have the feeling that sometimes they're overstating it, or there's something that doesn't feel quite right about it. And with your teaching, I have the feeling that I'm going towards the truth, and I feel that very deeply, and that's why they are valuable to me.
Oh, that's great. That's great. How do the teachings give you that sense? Do you know? Can you,
That's really
can you,
hard to explain, actually.
mm,
That I have, like, I'm totally convinced that the teachings of Ramana Maharshi also, I don't have any doubts about them. It's like everything I read makes sense. There's nothing that I think, "Oh, that's not quite right," or maybe there are some things I don't understand, and maybe there are some paradoxes, but it makes sense. And I don't know exactly how I know that.
you must resonate very strongly with them.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Wonderful.
thank you.
Thank you, Hester. Anita, welcome.
Hello, Tom. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yeah, your question, Tom, was like, why do we come to these meetings? And the first thing is because these meetings, we only talk about Bhagavan's teachings. So, and that's why I started coming to the meetings in the first place, because of faith and love for Bhagavan. So that's why I keep attending the meetings, but I also resonate with his teachings totally. And the books that you have suggested, and I can see on a subtle level that they have made, like, some transformation in me. Yeah. So, yeah, all faith, love, and the teachings. So that's why I'm here.
Thank you, Anita. And you said there's a transformation in you. Can you share with us more about what that is, what it has been for you?
Yeah, like a deeper understanding of the teachings, and whenever I read the books, I do get insights, and those things I can apply in my day-to-day life. And also I can see where I'm stuck and where there's a need to let go, basically. Yeah.
And how about in your day-to-day life? Have you found that these teachings help you be happier in your day-to-day?
Yeah, more surrender, more letting go.
Does that lead to more joy, more happiness,
Yeah, yeah,
more ease?
of course, yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you, Anita.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Really appreciate it. Christopher, welcome.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hello.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Tom. For me, I come to these meetings because the teachings have proven themselves many times. Whenever I have the guts or the conviction or the fed upness with suffering to sit down and practice, I'm rewarded in very meaningful and potent ways. And there's a so I come to these meetings to be convinced to continue to practice. Whenever I feel like I should chase after something else, or I'm upset with or afraid of practicing or something.
Mm. And you said the teachings have proved themselves. Does an example spring to mind of how that's happened?
There have been a few. I have taken a few sincere attempts at meditating and not coming back. Each time I genuinely try, I'm shown something that was worth seeing. There have been times when the peace was so overwhelming. I was sure that this is it, like this is it. This is I've found the path I've been looking for. I just need to keep doing more of this. Yeah.
I'm sure you have. I'm sure you have found the path you're looking for. When we find direct access to the source, to peace, when we find direct access to peace without an intermediary, why would you want to go through an intermediary, an object? When we have direct access.
This is how it feels, yeah.
Mm. Very good.
Mm.
Very good. Thank you, Krista. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Welcome. Gosh, quite a few comments in the chat which I haven't seen. Has anyone made a comment they want to read out? Save me reading them and also share it with the group. Elias, welcome.
Yes, welcome. It's very difficult to say why I come to the meetings. And I think that's a great reason to come to the meetings, because I'm not really able. On the one hand, it's like totally evident, because I do come to, I think, all meetings or each meetings for a long time, and every time I come, it's like, of course I come. There's no question about it. And it's even sounds perhaps a little superficial to put it like this, but I think yes, always afterwards I'm like happy, and it's like seeing the reality of things in a more clear way, and trying to explain it. We live in a world where everybody tries to convince us that we have a lot of problems, and life is essentially problematic, politics and so on. And in the way you share the teachings of Ramana, I feel this resonance to the truth that there's this underlying reality of peace and everything, like okayness, that in fact even the really palpable problems are superficial in contrast to this deeper peace, and to this deeper sense of beauty and yes, okayness would be perhaps a word. And I think that I had this sense, perhaps always, that there's this okayness. I see it in myself. I see it in other people. For instance, when I meet somebody, I see this often, this beauty and this deep yes, okayness. But it's not what we normally talk about. Normally, our focus is on things that change, things you have to do or you should do, and so on. Yes, and perhaps this would be the way, tentatively, try to express this. Yes, and thank you to you and to all who are listening and joining in this, because I think there's this resonance to everybody who is participating in this. Also in after Satsang, for instance, I feel this very clearly. But as I said, I don't feel it only in Satsang. I see this in a lot of other interactions, perhaps in a more scattered way, so to speak. But there's the same sense of this underlying peace, something like this. Yes, thank you, and thank you to all of you.
Thank you, Elias. Thank you. I'm glad you said that. I think you've always felt this. That's nice. And it's true, isn't it? Much of what is given to us through the senses is so negative. So it's nice to find somewhere that hopefully is a beacon of positivity as well. And yes, you will find this elsewhere, but there's a focus here, isn't there? There's an intensity in a positive way, I hope.
Yes. And even, for instance, also there's also a lot of like fake positivity too, which I don't, which is kind of also be terrible. People who try to be so positive, and you feel that this means that underlying there's this negativity, and therefore the positivity comes from the sense of lack and of negativity. But this is another sort of positivity. You see, like language is often like in this polarity that you buy. If you say positive things, then you buy into the negative. But this is another. It's a kind of purer positivity. Purity comes to mind also.
Yeah. Without it's the positivity without the underlying negativity.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you, Elias. Anyone else? We have Luke, then we have Ken. Luke, welcome.
Hey,
Hello.
I had my video off because I was eating an omelette, but I'm back now. I just want to say the reason I come to these meetings is they make me more happy than pretty much anything else I do, both practicing and the meetings. Like, it's just so experientially what makes me the happiest. And I just follow that. Yeah. There are probably other reasons as well, but for me, I think that's the main one, is you just follow what makes you happy. And Thursday nights and Sunday afternoons are always the happiest parts of the week.
Amazing. So happy to hear that. Do you find that the happiness that you experience in satsang here and during your own practice, do you feel that spreads out into the rest of your life as well?
Yeah, it does.
Because it'd be a shame if these were the only happy times in your life.
Yeah.
That would be quite, well, it would be better than not having them, but it would be also be it would be sad as well to hear that.
No, it definitely does. Definitely.
Thank you, Luke. Ken, welcome again.
Thanks, Tom. What a wonderful discussion, and I love your question. First of all, I want to say like how grateful I am that I actually found the teachings. You know, I feel very blessed that I actually found them, and even more so that I'm attracted to them. You know, I have sometimes like I think I've got ADHD. My attention doesn't last very long on one thing. I'm hopping on to the next thing. And for 4 years now, I've been attracted to these teachings, and I keep coming back to them. And I don't know, the analogy of a bee around a flower came into my mind as you were asking the question. And you know, there's something that's within the flower that's attracting. Maybe it's the fragrance, maybe it's the pollen, whatever. And there's something beyond the five senses that I can't put into words. This holds my attention. It feeds my thirst for knowledge, as evidenced by today's question. And it's, you know, it's the first time in my life where on a daily basis, you know, time with Bhagwan is so special to me, and it's a devotion that I look forward to. And I've never had that in my life. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I love everyone else's answers as well, and I agree with everyone. It's feel incredibly blessed that I feel that I'm on the right path. I think I've shared here before. I looked for happiness in all the wrong places, and I feel like today I'm looking for it in the right place. Thanks.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you. I actually resonate really strongly with what you just said, with everyone else too. But in that devotion, I wasn't even looking for devotion, and I wasn't looking for Bhagavan's teachings. I was looking for something that what I imagined I was looking for was something different. But I feel blessed as well. And knowing you're on the right path, having that deep inner conviction. And as Wendy said, it's not out of any coercion or any force, or you're not having to attach yourself to any belief system or dogma. It's free, it's open. You're not having to subscribe to any beliefs or anything, isn't there? And there's the inner knowing that this is the right path. Yeah, thank you so much, Ken. Thank you. We have Tracy and we have Anne. Welcome, Tracy. Tracy, you're muted.
There we go. Is that better?
Yeah.
Such a great question. It's, I'm not so great at practice. I've realized through this venture with you, and I'm not so great at reading. I can read, but I'm not so great at being steadily reading things, and I've learned that that's okay. I think mostly it gave whatever it was attracted me, and Tracy said yes to it, and so it's given me my time with you with one-on-ones where I know that the teaching itself is who you are. It's who I am. It's a living, breathing thing. And so I have learned trust, which I don't think I had so much of before this. And it has eliminated chaos and a lot of fear and sadness. And it has been the most joyous and hardest thing that Tracy has done, and also a sense of what my personality is made up of, and my conditioning or programming, and to understand that has been very freeing. It's given me a sense of vulnerability, and so I don't know, because I think I started on it with this majestic, mystic image of devotion. And, maybe that'll develop. But I think first and foremost, I just needed to understand what the idea of Tracy was made up of, so that I could even find a sense of joy. Sorry, it makes me emotional. So therefore, a deep sense of gratitude. To be able to even start to understand it and embody it. And in this existence, to have a harmonious, blissful existence. is really beautiful. Yeah, sorry. So,
Thank you, Tracy. Thank you.
yeah.
I'm so pleased that it's helped you trust and reduce fear and eliminate chaos, help you understand yourself, your conditioning, moving you towards joy. Thank you so much for sharing. Beautiful, beautiful. Anne, welcome.
Love and wisdom. The love was obvious from the first. I first met you in a one-to-one, and it was so palpable. The way you talk about bhakti, yeah, it's just it opened my heart. It opened a whole new way of approaching the teaching. I mean, what Tracy said, all of what Tracy said, and the wisdom, which is not about showing off your knowledge and your intellectual capability, which you've got in spades, but when you explain the text to us, you break it down, you explain it very simply. You'll even explain any difficult words. And you do it very slowly. So, I used to tune out sometimes when it got really intellectual. I just couldn't. I couldn't follow it, and I wasn't interested. And I mean, I want to understand something, but I don't. I don't quite know how to say this, but I want to understand it, but I want to understand it only to understand it, if that makes sense. Not to be able to pass it on in a very clever way. We should, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I love to hear you talk about, it's really interesting when you talk about Maya, when you talk about things in the world. I think, oh, that's a really different way of looking at something. When you talk about Trump, or you talk about racism, or all sorts of things, that's really, really interesting, because I'm thinking, oh yeah, that's that, yeah, but you just don't go with the flow. You just don't go with the received wisdom and things. And exactly what you said about the group thing. No, you don't do that. And I really love that. So yeah, I mean, it's really opened me up, and the group. I mean, the people you attract are open and humble and funny and friendly and warm, and that's really lovely. So thank you all. I love you all. And Scottish people don't say that. We don't say we're not. We're not Californians, So I'm becoming more Californian, you see, every month. So yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you. Yeah, I resonated a lot with what Tracy said and with what you're saying. I also, when I approach these scriptures, these texts, these teachings, and the teachings within us, I wanted to understand for myself. I didn't want to understand so I could talk about it or show off or appear to be learned. I think that's what you're trying to say, isn't it? And you enjoy understanding these things so you can understand them, not so you can show off or so you can speak or pontificate. And that's same for me when I was trying to understand these things. Just desire to actually understand, to know, to realize what all these teachers are actually talking about. And yes, the people that are attracted to this satsang, amazing people, amazing people. The humor, the warmth, the openness, the humility. Really, really amazing group of people we have here. Amazing. Which was something I never expected when I started. I never expected to meet such a wonderful group of people. And I know we're all different, aren't we? We all have our own things about us, but there is that openness, that non-judgmental nature. Sense of humor. Something very special about this group. Thank you, Anne. Vedant, welcome.
Thanks. I think these days the things I value most from this group are, I guess I really just love your recommended reading list. Like I think that's the biggest gift to me is somebody who, yeah, that's just like in a universe in a sea of a lot of different stuff to pick out good stuff. That's a huge gift for me. And then I think for me personally, the reminder to like turn inwards instead of outwards, both in like day-to-day life, but also just maybe when meditating. To me, that's a huge gift after maybe many years or some long period of, you know, yeah, of meditating in a different way. And that's a huge gift. And then the concrete benefits, I think I came or I had, or maybe it's, had, I'd say, a large degree of just underlying anxiety, baseline anxiety. And that's, I think, reduced a lot while I've been here. And I think a large, like looking at other people's opinions, and that's also reduced a lot while I've been here. So those are like the concrete things that have made my life better. So thank you.
Thank you, Vedant. Thank you. It's wonderful to hear. Really wonderful to hear. I'm glad. Yes, the recommended reading list. It's a special collection of texts, isn't it? And so pleased to hear that being here has reduced your anxiety and help you understand, and the need to turn within as well. It's such a simple teaching. Such a simple teaching. And yet it's missed a lot of the time, or it's distorted. Meaning people say turn within, but when they turn within, they're actually still attending to outward objects. how else would you discover yourself and discover the source of the fountain of bliss that you are? If you stay embroiled in the appearances, how will you discover the substance? The false teaching will say, well, because they're one and the same, you don't need to turn away. But the proof is in the pudding, as they say. It doesn't work. So eventually we have to turn with it. Thank you for that. Thank you. Anyone else?
Hey Tom,
Lance, hello.
it's me again.
Welcome again. Welcome.
I'm just so grateful. I was thinking that, even as a child, I was raised Christian and had a lot of trauma and heard stories of Jesus, and Jesus had a lot of trauma. And so I connected with Jesus because he seemed to be the only sanity in the world that I could see. And so I started to follow Jesus. And then at 13 became confirmed with my church. And there was so much trauma in that experience. Because I was told, who I was wicked and evil and bad, and I should do this and not do that. I think somebody else spoke about that. But even as a kid, I remember thinking, why are people pretending the most important thing is the most important thing, but they're not acting like it? We have this church, and I used to see the priests up there with their robes, the ministers, and I was like, oh yeah, they know. And then I talked to them later, and it's like, oh my God, they're crazy. They're, you know, and then my family, who we had to go to church. My grandfather would call my mom and make sure we went to church, and so we forced ourselves to go, and then we hated going. And all this to say that since then, I've looked for a place where I can find a teacher and a community where we actually honor that the most important thing is the most important thing. That that reality is the most important thing, that the truth is the most important thing. And like your quote, that love is the most important thing. And so I'm so grateful that I found you and I found Ramana, and I put in the chat that what I love about you and Ramana is I just feel 100% trust, just absolute trust. And even when I thought that, I thought, well, isn't that kind of dangerous, Lance? And I thought, no, it's fine. And until Ramana or Tom gives me reason not to trust, then I'll not trust. But there just hasn't been. I've been with you almost 3 years now. There's just been not a shred of a word or a thought or a glance that has made me feel like I can't trust you and that I can't trust Ramana. And in this world, that's pretty amazing. So much gratitude and much love to you. And like people said, to this community, just love everybody here. Some of you get on my nerves sometimes, but I love you anyway. No, I get on people's nerves sometimes, but I still feel love. So
It's very touching. Thank you, Lance. Thank you. And I know the real reason you come here. It's because you like the way I pronounce your name. That's the real reason, isn't it? Lance. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I like what you said about the trust, that you you can trust. But I also like what you said about I haven't given you any reason. Maybe in the future, if I give you reason, then that trust can be rescinded. You know, you can take that trust away, and that's true. And I think that's wise. You can trust someone, but then doesn't mean you'll always trust them, you know. And going back to what Anne was saying about when I talk about Maya, I give a fresh perspective. I like the way she said that. Because I always say when I talk about the self, I have some understanding of what I'm talking about. There's some authority there. But when I talk about Maya, I mean, you know, I'm just like anyone else. Meaning Tom could have a whole load of crazy beliefs about Maya. So don't take take what you like. When Tom talks about Maya, you can, if you like that, you can take it. If you don't like it, you can throw it away. I don't claim to be an expert on all the intricacies of Maya. Maybe I know a few things. But that is not relevant, actually. My opinions on Maya are not relevant to the teaching. I've noticed some spiritual teachers who purport to be enlightened or self-realized. They act as if everything they say is like gold. Like every opinion they have on science and politics and the environment and nature and physics, you know, they suddenly become a polymath, you know. No, it's not like that. And I want you to know that about me. So I like that Anne said everything. Well, my opinions and Maya are interesting because that's good. It's there for you to contemplate. It's not there for you to agree with. You may agree with it. You may not agree with it. Either way, it's fine with me. You know, and same with all of us here because this group of us, we don't come together because of our views on whatever politics. That doesn't bind us together. It's a deeper love for Bhagavan, for his teachings, for ourselves, for truth, for truth, the ultimate truth, the ultimate reality. This is the key. Not to get sidetracked by this other stuff that may otherwise divide us. Okay. Let's bring Satsang to a close. My love to you all too. My love to you all too. It's a precious gift to me to have you be here with me, for you to trust in me. Some of you may trust in me more than others, you know, depending how you resonate with the teaching, but any iota or ounce of trust you put in me, that's it's a wonderful thing. I appreciate it. And of course, this isn't about me at all. This is about you, discovering who you are. That's really what this is about. I'm just a means, a vessel to take you to the farther shore of your own true nature. Thank you, everyone. Keep Bhagavan in your hearts. My love to you all. Thank you.